Welcome, folks, to the Dr. Joe Show. I'm so excited to have you here. Let's just get right to it. Lori, tell us a little bit about why you're here, what we're talking about tonight.
Well, we're here because I've started a documentary called Taking a Toke, and it's about the evils of teen vaping and how it impacts their health and their families. And so I'm here to talk about that tonight. Joe and I both are. Thank you so much for having us, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Oh, we're delighted to have you guys here. And like I said, it's such an important topic because it is affecting millions and millions of our kids. Joe, how did you get involved in this?
Well, I got involved because I'm with Harbor Media in Hingham, which is a hyper-local community access television studio, of which I'm a producer there, and Lori is one of our members. And so she came into the studio one afternoon and speaking with our executive director was very passionate about wanting to tell a story about the dangers of vaping, especially among our adolescents. And I just couldn't say no.
That's terrific. Well, you may not have been able to say no to Lori, but I sure hope by the end of this, our adolescents are able to say no to vaping. So let's go right there. Lori, how did this all get started? What happened?
Well, I smoked as a kid and I quit when I was 25. And I have two parents that died from tobacco. My mother had lung cancer and my father had some complications from his lungs because of it. And this nicotine tobacco addiction, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible that they're actually found a way to come after the kids. So that's part of it.
Yeah. So very personal in some ways.
Yes, exactly. I was a kid that, that's what you did back then. If your parents smoked, you smoked. And you could buy cigarettes back then, and they were like $1. So anyways, yeah. And I started teaching an exercise class at my son's grammar school when he was in 2nd grade. And so I taught it all the way till last year when COVID hit. They closed the schools, so I stopped teaching it. So I taught it for 12 years. And I noticed some of my former students walking around the town hall vaping. And that's when I went up to Harbor Media and started doing something because I coached kids, I taught them, I care about these kids. And it's just absolutely horrible that these children have been duped into vaping and, the tobacco industry. So that's where it all kind of began.
Yeah, interesting. So interesting. And when you say they've been duped, I know we've got a video clip from the website. Before we get to that, Joe, tell me a bit about, we'll get into the nitty-gritty about the production part. So how does someone produce a documentary like this?
Well, it's definitely not easy. And this is still a work in progress. And most importantly is it's telling a story. Most successful and impactful documentaries focus on one or more individuals that tells a very powerful story. And what this story is about is what I would characterize as the big lie. Insofar as the tobacco industry, the e-vaping industry sold us a bill of goods, thinking that this was safe, it was an alternative to combustible cigarettes, and we found out that was a lie.
Not the first time that that there have been big industry lies, but why do you think this one, no pun intended, caught on so much? Lori, what do you think? Why did vaping catch on?
Because it was cool. They pushed it out on social media. They can take these little devices and make smoke rings, and everybody's doing it to be cool. And then bullying came into play. Kids were bullying other kids to try it. It only took one pod to get a kid addicted. That's all it takes for their frontal lobes, the endorphin kick. So terrible.
Yeah. So it is true that the nicotine addiction is certainly one of the three things that leads to potentially lifelong addiction: nicotine, marijuana, and alcohol. And the fact that these things are legal, I just want people to know, doesn't mean they're safe. Guns are legal as well, cars are legal as well, prescription pain medicine is legal, but it doesn't necessarily make it safe. And that's part of, I think what the challenge is how do we communicate this, especially, Laura, you're talking about when you were a kid, your parents were smoking.
Yeah.
So it just, this is sort of the modeling that a lot of parents do for their kids without even realizing it,
Yeah.
without even realizing it. So let's talk more about this. What did you learn? I mean, you say, Joe, that there are stories.
Yeah.
So tell us about the story a little bit. Who are we following in this?
Well, we're still developing the story is the first thing, but some of the individuals whom we've had the honor of meeting and talking to and interviewing just literally brings you to tears when you hear a parent's anguish when they discover in their child's dresser drawer a shoebox full of empty pods. The anguish of a young man who so desperately wants to quit this addiction that he actually went out and he bought a lockbox that you program the timer so that it locks him away from getting access to his vaping pen. He's trying to ration himself in a way that he can try to kick the addiction. When you see people go to those lengths, when you see that kind of emotional and psychological and physical pain, it just blows your mind.
Stretch the kindness, rush with madness, is it sadness or just a show?